The crowd froze in disbelief. Under the blinding lights of Tyler's concert stage, in a moment no one had expected, Jungkook appeared without prior notice. Not only did his sudden arrival shock the thousands of eyes fixed on him, but what followed sent an even greater ripple through the atmosphere. He walked directly toward Taehyung, pulled him into an embrace, and stood in full view of the audience. The most haunting question echoed across both the arena and the online space. What did Jin see when this unfolded before him? This scene was not a carefully announced collaboration nor a staged surprise. The atmosphere at Tyler's concert had been building with energy, fans anticipating the next track, the next beat, the next performance highlight. But when Jungkook stepped into the frame, every camera phone tilted, every breath held. It was the kind of disruption that transforms a performance into a cultural moment. Yet the element that deepened the intensity was Jin's presence, his eyes locking onto the very moment Jungkook's arms encircled Taehyung. Observers could sense it, the weight in his gaze, a question lingering unspoken. What does this connection mean, and why did it unfold here, in front of him for the audience? The hug might have looked spontaneous, but the tension in the air revealed that it carried more than surface-level warmth. Taehyung's reaction, leaning into Jungkook with unmistakable sincerity, turned the arena into a theater of emotions. Tyler himself paused mid-performance, his attention diverted, signaling that this was no ordinary occurrence. Fans screamed, but their screams were not merely cheers. They carried confusion, exhilaration, and desperation to interpret the meaning of what they had just witnessed. And then there was Jin. Positioned with a clear view of the interaction, his eyes widened, his posture stiffened, as though searching for context that never came. Witnesses described him not as detached, but as profoundly affected, caught between the spectacle of the concert and the sudden personal drama erupting within it. The audience's cameras caught fleeting moments of Jin's reaction, and though no words left his mouth, his expression alone demanded 100 questions. Was it shock? Was it pride? Was it disbelief? The ambiguity only added to the storm. This was not the first time members of BTS had been seen supporting one another in unexpected venues, but rarely had such an appearance caused a reaction so divided, so filled with speculation. Why here? Why now? And why in a way that left Jin at the center of emotional speculation? These were the questions that dominated the digital sphere as clips began circulating within minutes. Each angle replayed Jungkook's entrance, Taehyung's embrace, and Jin's unblinking gaze. Some fans interpreted the hug as a simple gesture of camaraderie, an act of solidarity in a public space. Yet the timing and the circumstances defied simplicity. Jungkook was not on the official lineup for Tyler's concert. No promotional materials hinted at his presence. His arrival was as sudden as it was dramatic. More importantly, the audience could not ignore the sequence. Jungkook walking past the periphery, heading straight for Taehyung, and ignoring all distractions in the process. It was a line of intent too sharp to overlook. The heart of the matter remains Jin's perspective. From where he stood, the scene unfolded as though choreographed by fate itself. His eyes, fixed and unwavering, captured by audience lenses, became the most dissected detail of the entire night. Some described them as glistening, suggesting suppressed tears. Others claimed they saw a mix of astonishment and silent understanding. Regardless of interpretation, one fact remains: Jin witnessed a moment that reshaped the emotional narrative of the concert. The arena, filled with anticipation for Tyler's music, transformed into a global stage for questions no one could immediately answer. Why did Jungkook choose that moment? What message was carried in the embrace with Taehyung? And above all, what did Jin perceive in that instant? The lack of explanation left a void, and into that void poured speculation, analysis, and a collective need for meaning, observers note that the sudden emotional convergence cannot be dismissed as coincidence. Jungkook's body language suggested intention, not accident. Taehyung's acceptance radiated familiarity, not surprise. Jin's response, captured silently but powerfully, suggested that he recognized the significance even as the world scrambled to interpret it. It was a triangulated moment, with each figure revealing fragments of a larger story. The reverberations of this moment spread far beyond the arena. Online platforms erupted instantly, with millions demanding clarity. Was this a reunion, a message, or an unscripted expression of loyalty? And why was Jin's presence so central to the unfolding narrative? In many ways, his reaction became the lens through which fans viewed the entire incident. It was not merely about Jungkook appearing or Taehyung receiving him. It was about what Jin saw and what it meant to him. Such moments define the cultural weight of BTS, not only as individuals, but as a collective phenomenon. Tyler's concert may have been the physical stage, but the story transcended the performance itself. The emotional spectacle placed Jin, Jungkook, and Taehyung at the intersection of personal history and public scrutiny. Audiences worldwide were left in a state of unresolved tension, their curiosity sharpened by the unanswered questions. What Jin saw cannot be fully articulated by words alone, because it was not just a visual moment. It was emotional, layered, and saturated with history. His eyes recorded an event that others could only speculate upon, and that is why this question continues to resonate. What did Jin see? Was it a simple reunion, a profound signal, or a personal reckoning under the blinding stage lights? The ambiguity remains the source of its power, and the audience, caught in this storm of spectacle, waits restlessly for answers that may never come. The clip replays endlessly, the questions repeat, and the tension lingers. One embrace, one gaze, and one unspoken moment turned a concert into a global headline, leaving us with only one conclusion. Sometimes the most powerful events are not those prepared on the set list, but those that erupt without warning, demanding interpretation. Jin's silent witness to Jungkook's embrace of Taehyung is now more than a fleeting concert scene. It is a puzzle, a trigger for speculation, and a reminder that in the world of global icons, nothing is ever merely simple. The question remains unanswered, the tension unresolved, and the story still unfolding. What Jin saw that night will be remembered not as a detail, but as a defining image. A man standing at the edge of a stage, watching as two figures collided in an embrace that the world cannot stop analyzing. The significance of this moment cannot be overstated. Inside the arena, the atmosphere fractured into two distinct energies: the thunderous roar of fans overwhelmed by excitement, and the sharp edge of silence from those struggling to process what they had just seen. Every pair of eyes seemed to be searching for meaning, for context, for answers that were not provided. Tyler's music temporarily faded into the background, overshadowed by an event that was not part of the scheduled performance. What began as a concert transformed into a stage of unresolved questions, a spectacle layered with emotion and tension. Social media magnified the uncertainty within minutes. Hashtags trended globally. Video clips from dozens of angles surfaced simultaneously, and theories multiplied at a speed no official narrative could ever contain. Fans debated whether Jungkook's embrace of Taehyung was rehearsed, symbolic, or spontaneous.